Duos. The thing I'll never be. Well, let's count this little fellow right here. Huh, Bimmy? Aren't we a duo? Oh, wait, you're asleep. Sorry. Anywho, this is one of those topics you think up randomly, like in the shower, or at least I do, because I'm, me. But, yeah, I just kind of thought of the idea, like, hey, what are some of the best duos, and can I make a Zman extra about that? At first, I was kind of thinking, no way, probably won't even be that good. But then I almost immediately started thinking of like a ton of different ones. So I decided to get right to it, and I even wrote them down right here just so I can remember the specific order. And by that, I mean just the ones I actually put down as. God, I really shouldn't have said that because there is no specific order. Because I can't really objectively define what is the best duo, especially since I'm doing stuff where like some of them are rivals, and some of them are friends, that sort of thing. So yeah, just the top 11, just 11 random little cartoon duos that I love. Go through each one, explain why, and maybe along the way I'll realize which one I like the most and declare that one the best one. But for now, well, let's just get with it, get in it. Number one, the first one I thought to write down was Tom and Jerry. And come on, how can we not start this thing off with Tom and Jerry? Do I even need to explain this one? Can I just go on to two? Tom and Jerry are one of the best rivalries in all of animation, both Western and probably just in the world, honestly. Tom and Jerry are what I describe as frenemies, and that's well, they do hate each other, and I mean, Tom does want to either eat or get rid of Jerry, and like a majority of their work together. It's There's also a lot of times where like you can tell they're kind of just friends deep down. Like how about the one cartoon where like a Jerry is able to get rid of Tom, but like he realizes that's just how boring it is without Tom around. Again, it's that type of thing that really shows off how deep down the two of them almost treat the rivalry more like a game or just something to do rather than just them hating each other purely. And I think that's a sign of a good rivalry, because you don't need a. Because I feel like if it was purely just, cat wants to eat mouse, it'd get boring. So adding these little trinkets into their dynamic is fun. Not to mention the infamous Blue Cat Blues episode, where Tom and Jerry are straight just friends in that one. Overall, they're a really great duo, and honestly are very difficult not to argue that they are just the best one. I still got like 10 more to say though, so who knows? Maybe when I really start talking about them, I'll start to realize, hey, maybe Tom and Jerry, maybe there's one I like more than Tom and Jerry. I mean, I do love all of the duos I put on this list, obviously. So, well, I still love them all regardless. But in terms of the best one, we'll have to see. And number two, I put down Charlie Brown and Snoopy. Now, admittedly, a part of me debated if I even wanted to include this one because it's their. If you want to be that guy or that girl or that non-binary or that, you can argue that Charlie Brown and Snoopy shouldn't really even count for this list because they are not even because they're more comic strip characters than like actual cartoons. And to that I say, fuck off, it's my list. Besides, a lot of people know them more so for the specials and the movies and all that than their actual like comics, the comic strip. So I think they qualify. Charlie Brown and Snoopy are weird, and I can see why someone would think, just put Charlie Brown and Linus or do Snoopy and Woodstock. Why would I just do Charlie Brown and Snoopy in them of themselves? Like, why would I just do that? And honestly, I think it's because Charlie Brown and Snoopy not only are my two favorite Peanuts characters, I mean, I did a whole character perspective short on Charlie Brown that, I'd really like if you guys watched that and supported that. It helped my character perspective series. It'd be really nice to get that thing more off the ground. But anyways, I think them as a duo works just as well when they are with the Linus and Woodstock. Charlie Brown and Snoopy have a really cool dynamic where like Snoopy's just like, he's barely even a dog. He's straight up just a person in a dog's body at this point. And Charlie Brown's always like, "Oh man, why can't I just have a normal dog?" But it's like, Charlie Brown, why do you want a normal dog? This Snoopy's awesome. I mean, okay, he can cause mischief and all that, but like in general, he's a chill dude. Let bro vibe. I think one of the best ways to show this is actually the Peanuts movie, which is which that alongside the main three holiday specials is what I mostly associate the Peanuts with. And that movie really does a great job showing off Charlie Brown and Snoopy's dynamic, even though they both have their own A plot, B plot thing in that movie. Snoopy helping Charlie Brown dance, going with him to the dance, and then going with him during said dance, and letting Charlie Brown just do his thing. He helps Charlie Brown help Sally with the talent show, and they're just a really amazing duo, and I'm really glad that they are the main faces of Peanuts, as they really do high-key kind of carry the strip on their back. Alrighty, from one comic character to the next, we have Spy versus Spy. I actually... I'm not the best at reading. Reading is something I should really do more of. But one smart reading decision I made was reading the entire Spy vs. Spy omnibus that my grandma got me by Antonio Prohias. I probably butchered that, unfortunately, but here you go, buddy. You have unfortunately passed on, but your characters have not. And I think now that I've read all of the Spy vs. Spy comics, or at least all of the ones that are in that omnibus, and I hope that's all of them because I don't want to miss any, proves to me that Spy vs. Spy, much like Charlie Brown and Snoopy, although not technically really animated characters, do deserve to be on this list of best duos. They're like the humanoid version of Tom and Jerry if Tom and Jerry were able to get equal to each other. Because the white spy and the black spy are just both, even though they were originally made to satirize like communism and all that, I think they actually work extremely well, like beyond that. Like you don't really need to even know that context to really enjoy their comedy. Actually, funnily enough, I didn't even really know them before the strip. I didn't really watch. I watched the Mad the Cartoon Network show as a kid. I didn't even know they were like Mad was even like a comic book and all that. Which is part of why I feel more comfortable even putting them on the list. But yeah, Spy vs. Spy, classic. Honestly, I could see them maybe even getting their own TV show, or at the very least, a series of shorts. So even on their own, because let's all be honest, they are the most memorable thing about Mad. So yeah. And number 4, we have Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck. Again, much like Charlie Brown and Snoopy, I feel like you could argue that Bugs Bunny especially could have several different characters on this list. Or oh my god, what the fuck am I saying? You could pair him with any Looney Tune character, and early several different ones, and it can still fit. Like Bugs and Elmer, Bugs and Yosemite Sam, Bugs and Marvin. But I high key think Bugs and Daffy are like the best in terms of their specific pairings. Why? Because they're just a really good duo. Daffy is high key just jealous of Bugs, and honestly, can you blame him? I'm pretty sure Chuck Jones, who directed the famous Duck Season, Rabbit Season, Duck Season, Rabbit Season, Duck Season, like that whole thing. He once said that Bugs is who we want to be, but Daffy's just who we are, and I think that holds true for why Daffy wants to be Bugs so bad. Bugs is him, and Daffy wants to be him. If that modern slang like really helps show it off. I know there could be some debate among Looney Tunes fans over whether this version of Daffy is even the best Daffy. And as someone who loves both versions of Daffy, I think this version, this greedy, jealous Daffy, works best when paired against Bugs. The Hunting Trilogy, Alibaba Bunny, Showbiz Bugs, A Star is Bored. Like, there's so many great cartoons starring these two. So yeah, I think Bugs and Daffy deserve to be on the list. And besides, a couple of months ago, I actually rewatched the Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is literally just a full movie of Bugs and Daffy. And yeah, they really do carry an otherwise okay enough movie on their backs. So yeah, really great duo. Probably my favorite Looney Tunes duo, honestly. Though then again, they're definitely up there in terms of my favorite Looney Tunes characters, period. So that should really explain it. Alrighty, at number 5, we have Stewie and Brian Griffin from The Family Guy. I've made it known as time's gone on that I'm not as big of a Family Guy fan as I once was when I was a kid, but it felt wrong not to include Stewie and Brian, as let's all be honest, Stewie and Brian have become the show. Like, it's Peter shenanigans, and then Brian and Stewie are the main reasons why Family Guy's so popular. And it would feel wrong not to include them. The Road 2 series of episodes, Europe was mid, as I've already said in my Family Guy Season 3 review. And the India one, most people agree, is also bad. But other than those two, the remaining like 6 Road 2s are all range from good to downright some of the best damn episodes they ever made. Road to Rhode Island, I already talked about before in previous videos, is a freaking masterpiece and will definitely end up towards the top of the list, even if I somehow am able to watch all of Family Guy. Roads to Vegas is also really good. Even beyond those Road 2s, Brian and Stewie are a really good duo. The B plot of Patriot Games, Stewie being all like, "Where's my money, man? Where's my money?" Or how about the episode when Stewie got that freakish tan and him and Brian like helped, just pretty much did all his final things with Elmo. So yeah, Brian and Stewie are a really great duo. Well, I say Brian becoming a worse character as time's gone on does hurt the duo a little bit because Brian's such a douchebag now. It's like it can get annoying to watch. But at the very least, Stewie remains a somewhat okay throughout most of the show, and he can carry the Stewie and Brian duo episodes a bit. I'm saying carrying way too much in this video, and I know it's getting annoying, so I'll try to stop. I actually don't know if it's really annoying you guys, but it's annoying me, so I'm going to try to stop. At number 6, though, we have Roger and Steve Smith from American Dad. As someone who loves American Dad so much and finds it way better than not Looney Tunes. I'm looking at the Bugs and Daffy thing I wrote down. Who likes American Dad more than Family Guy? I think it's only fair that I get to include my favorite American Dad duo. And while Roger and Stan are close, I think Roger and Steve have more of that bond that makes them a better duo. Come on, Wheels and the Leg Man. Maybe it's because I rewatched season 2 a few months ago, and season 2 actually has a decent amount of like Steve and Roger content, but they really do seem like to be a really good fit for each other. Unlike Brian, who turned into a douchebag, Roger is a psychopath, like right from day one. So it makes his douchiness mixed with Steve's more naivety really funny. Just a classic duo. A good example is like the Unbrave one, I think is the episode's called, where Roger takes the credit for like what Steve did. That's a classic Roger douche move, but in general, it's a really funny episode for them, and it really works well. Just another peak duo, and really do recommend them. Recommend the whole show, honestly, because American Dad's peak fiction. 7 is Pinky and the Brain. I love them so much. I showed them off my Funko collection because they're part of my Funko collection. And also even made a little YouTube short about that specific segment as well. So it only felt right to include Pinky and the Brain as well. Part of me wanted to include the Warner siblings that are really the stars of Animaniacs, but unfortunately, it's not really they're a trio, so you can't really include them into this like a duo project. But rest assured, they are great in their own right. But Pinky and the Brain, who I'm talking about, something to love about the Brain, and just in general, even beyond his friendship with Pinky, is that Brain isn't evil. Like, he wants to take over the world because he genuinely thinks humanity's like he wants to be an asset, but like because he's a mouse, no one gives him the credit he deserves. It really does make you want him to win. It makes him way better than some generic "I am evil." And Pinky is a great sidekick to Brain as well. It's really fun. I know sometimes he can mess up the missions, and that's why they don't take over the world. But you can you can tell Pinky isn't doing it to like be a douche or anything. He's just a bit naive and it could be kind of stupid with all the North and the yeah, which I'm pretty sure is based off like a Tiny Toons writer who's doing all that shit. And then he auditioned to be the voice of Pinky, and yeah, he didn't become Pinky's voice actor, which high key kind of upsetting. But the guy who does him, the one who also voices Yakko Warner, what's his name? I'm such an idiot. How do I not know his name? Anyways, hopefully you know the guy. Rob Paulsen. Rob Paulsen is the guy. Great duo. The Spellbound episode from Animaniacs is a great proof that these two do work well together because it's a full thing of them in medieval times. Really funny stuff. As for favorite Pinky and the Brain episode, from a guy who's unfortunately not seen a ton of it, and then again I watched it like years ago, the Larry episode is freaking genius, but I also really like the one where like the little hamster takes Pinky because it really does show their friendship and possible. But yeah, and hell, you know what? Even though I'm not like the biggest fan of the 2020 reboot, Pinky and the Brain weren't like horrible in it. If that means anything. Alrighty, number 8, we have Ren and Stimpy. Actually, kind of similar to Pinky and the Brain now that I think about it. I've actually been watching Ren and Stimpy on like Paramount Plus. Not doing it for a review or anything. And honestly, I'm kind of glad I'm not now because a lot of the episodes unfortunately did not make it to Paramount Plus and are banned. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if they're banned, but like they're not. There's not on the streaming service, so I couldn't really even review it properly if I wanted to. But watching a ton of Ren and Stimpy makes me think that yeah, they're a top tier duo. They're S tier. All of the duos I'm talking about are like S tier duos to me. And Ren and Stimpy are definitely a part of that group. Ren is freaking hilarious. I love he clearly insane. The Stimpy's fan club episode, which I was thankfully able to watch, really shows this off. Dude wanted to kill Stimpy because he didn't have a fan base. That as a small YouTuber, it's a little relatable, but also like a damn Ren. Didn't need to go that far. I wouldn't do that to Mr. Beast if I could. But maybe. No, okay, you're right. And Stimpy, much like Pinky, is kind of dumb, but you can tell he clearly loves Ren. Even in something like Stimpy's invention, Stimpy wasn't making the machine and making Ren happy because he's like an asshole and doesn't want Ren to feel emotions. No, he just wanted to make his friend happy, but, since he's also Dr. Stupid, which is literally what they call him in the show, no joke if you don't even know about any of that. He ends up just pretty much making it so where Ren's only happy, and yeah, that pissed me off too. So it makes sense. Okay, at number 9, we have Bart and Lisa from The Simpsons. Admittedly, a part of me really wanted to put Bart and Homer on this list because Homer Simpson is my favorite fictional character ever made, but in my heart of hearts, I think Bart and Lisa really do work better. I think they're as much. I'm not even a big Lisa fan, but I still think that she works very well against Bart because again, it's a typical smart character versus like a more troublemaker one. Bart isn't. I wouldn't call Bart straight up dumb. He's more so mischievous and troublemaking. I mean, come on. In season 1's Crepes of Wrath, a dude can totally speak French after being imprisoned by these two French dudes. So he clearly has some smarts within him. He's just not like school smart like Lisa is, and that's what makes them good. Them in the Sideshow Bob episodes, that's usually a good way to tell how good of a duo they are. Lisa on Ice is one of my favorite Simpsons episodes ever made, and that's a really amazing Bart and Lisa episode. Summer 4'2" is also a classic. Again, Bart acts like a dick to Lisa, but then at the very end he realizes, hey, maybe I shouldn't have been doing all that. My bad, twin. Even in the later seasons, an episode like I think it was called like Boy Meets Curl or something, like when Lisa gets addicted to pens and Bart like wants to help her. So Simpsons never abandoned that Bart and Lisa like friendship, like sibling rivalry, but still like clearly a deep friendship. It reminds me of my relationship to my brother and sister, especially like how we can totally just be douches to each other, but at the end of the day, it's like we still care about each other. Wow, first I was caring, and I'm now douche. I'm saying words way too much here. I apologize. I only came up with this idea today, so I didn't really give myself a ton of prep time. So I'm sorry if this is even more so than usual. Feels very scatterbrain. At number 10, we have Dick Dastardly and Muttley. Spoiler alert for my Wacky Races review. I'm not the biggest fan of that show, but I do think they are the best aspect of that show and do deserve to be on the list. Plus, I wanted to at least bring up something that I've actually reviewed. Well, I guess I have also reviewed a Tom and Jerry thing, and I reviewed, and I technically did the best of Looney Tunes, if you really count that, and Family Guy, and American Dad, and Simpsons. Okay, so never mind on that. But still, Dick Dastardly and Muttley are a great evil duo. I think that's very unique. Dick always wants to win the race, but he gets to the front in pretty much every episode. But he acts like an idiot and just completely just tries to make up little traps like, hey, go through like this tall skyscraper. Or, hey, I'm going to dress up as this person and cause some mischief. And then Muttley, admittedly, doesn't really like Dick that much. He's always making fun of him or graveling because Dick makes him do all the dirty work. There are small scenes that show that deep down they do Muttley kind of likes Dick, or that Dick treats Muttley like a nice dog. He pets him and all that. And Muttley licks him, I believe, in at least one episode. Could be wrong about that, but that's just from what I remember when I watched the show. Well, overall, though, another great duo. And they really do carry an otherwise mid-tier series for me. Okay, 11. Number 11, I deliberately chose this as the final one because I wanted to end things off with like a very surprising duo. Because I feel like all of these other picks are super safe. Roger and Steve, maybe if you haven't seen American Dad, like you wouldn't get it. But other than them, I feel like these are all very common and like very normie picks. So I wanted to be a little unnormy for the final one and choose Zig and Sharko. Now, I know what we might be asking. What the fuck's a Zig and Sharko? Zig and Sharko is made by Ixlam and is about a hyena named Zig who wants to eat a mermaid named Marina, but Sharko the shark, very creative name I know, doesn't want Zig to eat her because he's in love with her. It's a battle between who gets Marina for food or lust. Hey, viewer on stream, no, you're leaving. Okay, cool. Anyways, so yeah, I found the show in general to be very underrated. I watched it a ton as a kid. I grew up with it as much as stuff like Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry, which makes me very upset that this show seems at least barely anyone talks about it, which very much upsets me. As I think it is up there in terms of because it's the closest I feel any show in the modern age has come to capturing like the golden age of animation and like their charm and all that. Season 1 was really good, but I only really got to see it as like a little kid. Season 2, I binged the hell out of that season throughout the years, back when it was on Netflix. I know apparently most fans don't like the show after season 1, but for me, it's like the first two season 1's really good. Season 2 was peak. Season 3 was also really good. And then, okay, you can kind of stop watching after season 3. I don't know what the hell happened there. I've only seen a little bit of season 4, but it's not worth your time, mate. So yeah, Zig and Sharko have that classic Tom and Jerry dynamic. As kids, Zig and Sharko were actually friends, and even as teens, they're friends. And hell, you know what? Even in their adult years, they're still kind of friends. So it's like no matter what, deep down, these two really are friends. It's only the fact that Marina exists and Zig wants to eat her and Sharko's in love with her. That's what causes the friction. Which makes it a little sad. Like, come on, Marina. Why do you have to exist? Why do you have to, like, be a person who is around? But again, that type of thing makes them a great duo. And in general, the show deserves more love. And I think them as a duo deserves more love. Since the show's literally named after them. And that's it. 11 great duos. At the end of the day, which one's my favorite? Unfortunately, I almost kind of want to just stay with my Tom and Jerry pick. Is there really a duo more is there a fictional duo that's more iconic than them? I mean, Bugs and Daffy are close. Spy versus Spy is also close. Ren and Stimpy, I've been watching a lot of that lately, so that makes me at least more knowledgeable now about them, but I'm not sure they're quite the best. Yeah, that's going to do it, I think. I think Tom and Jerry wins, unfortunately. I mean, I love Tom and Jerry to bits. They're two of my favorite anime characters ever made, but I didn't want to be such a basic bitch about the pick, but that's all what can I say? Hope you enjoyed this review, or at least not this, or at least this episode of Z-Man Extras. Who knows? Maybe I'll do 11 more cartoon duos, or maybe 11 duos of a different genre if people watch it enough and I get enough ideas. One of the two things. Probably the latter more than the former, but hopefully this video gets popular. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.